Imagine shopping in Denmark and finding nearly half your groceries are organic, or even realizing that the co-op you buy from is owned by your neighbors. If you're used to big brand supermarkets or confusing labels, you might feel overwhelmed by Denmark's organic abundance, but by the end of this video, you'll see it's built on trust, tradition, and smarter choices. Sustainability and green energy. Viking heritage. Welfare system. New Nordic food. Welcome to Denmark Explained, your front row seat to the hidden gems, quirky traditions, and powerful stories that make Danish culture truly unforgettable. When you arrive in Denmark and step into an ordinary supermarket, you might be surprised to see how common organic food is. It's not hidden in a small corner or marked up as a premium luxury, it's often front and center. In fact, Denmark has the highest share of organic food consumption in the world. By 2024, more than 11% of all food purchased was certified organic. That might not sound huge at first, but think about it. In many countries, organic sales barely reach 3 or 4%. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Nearly 2/3 of people living in Denmark buy organic food every single week. That means this isn't just a trend for the wealthy or health-obsessed. It's a lifestyle that has spread across families, students, and even people shopping on a budget. We'll come back to the role of discount stores a bit later, because that's a key part of this story. Another reason this organic culture feels so normal here is trust. More than 80% of shoppers say they rely on the national organic label. Unlike some countries where labels can feel confusing or even misleading, in Denmark the system is simple and backed by government checks. That trust has built habits over decades. People don't stop to question if something is really organic, they already know. And when trust is that strong, it shapes how an entire country eats. Think about this comparison. In 2021, the average person here spent around €450 per year on organic food. That was already one of the highest rates anywhere in the world. By now, it has only grown stronger. So, when you're shopping in Denmark, it's almost like organic isn't a special category, it's the default choice. Now, here's a question to keep in mind. Why would people pay a little extra for organic food if it's not just about taste? The answer connects to health, environment, and even cultural identity. And in a moment, I'll share how the idea of food cooperatives, owned by regular people, helped to make this possible. Another striking point is that organic isn't limited to fruits and vegetables. Yes, bananas, carrots, and oatmeal are among the top favorites, but dairy, eggs, and even everyday flour are also bought in organic versions. This means the organic lifestyle here goes far beyond a few niche products. And here's the part we'll return to later. Supermarkets in Denmark didn't just respond to demand, they actively pushed organic food into the mainstream. Without them, the numbers wouldn't be anywhere near this high. So, if you've ever wondered why organic feels like a privilege in many countries but a normal part of life in Denmark, the answer starts here. Strong trust, high demand, and decades of commitment. Before we dive into how co-ops and policies fueled this movement, let's connect the dots. Why do Danes buy so much organic food? If you've ever wondered why organic food is so mainstream in Denmark, the answer lies in decades of smart policies and a culture built on trust. This didn't happen by accident. It started with the world's very first national law on organic farming, all the way back in 1987. That's almost 40 years ago, when many other countries weren't even using the word organic. From that point forward, Denmark didn't just rely on farmers or markets to make it work. Instead, the government created something unique, an organic action plan. It was the first of its kind anywhere in the world, and it brought everyone to the same table: farmers, retailers, schools, and even consumer groups. That cooperation created a sense of shared ownership, and it helped organic food grow from a small niche into a way of life. We'll circle back to how that sense of cooperation shaped everyday supermarkets a little later. This approach became so successful that in 2018, the country's plan received an international award for being one of the best food policies worldwide. Think about that, an entire national food strategy recognized on the global stage. And it wasn't recognition for ambition alone, but for results that people could see and taste. Trust plays a huge role in this story. Almost everyone recognizes the national organic label, and more than 4 out of 5 shoppers say they trust it completely. That kind of confidence is rare. In many countries, people second-guess the labels on their food. In Denmark, people don't hesitate. They see the label and they know it's the real thing. That trust didn't just build overnight, it was earned through consistent checks and a transparent system. And here's something that might surprise you. Policy didn't stop at farms and shops. Public kitchens, like schools, hospitals, and city canteens, were pushed to adopt organic food too. One capital city even achieved 90% organic meals in its public kitchens. Imagine school lunches and hospital dinners being almost entirely organic. That normalizes the experience for children and families, making organic food feel like the everyday standard, not a luxury. Farmers also received support to make the switch. If they wanted to convert their land to organic, the state offered financial assistance for several years, reducing the risk of change. Thanks to this, around 12% of farmland is now organic, well above the European average. The goal is to double this share by 2030, showing that the commitment isn't slowing down. Exports are another part of the story. By 2022, organic exports were worth billions, with countries like Germany leading the demand. That means organic production not only supports local health and sustainability, it also fuels international business. So when you combine smart laws, clear labels, supportive policies, and international recognition, you can see why Denmark became the global leader in organic living. And in the next chapter, you'll see how this didn't just come from government offices, but from ordinary people working together through cooperatives. I've given you the why behind Denmark's organic boom. Now here's a question for you to think about as the video continues. Would you be more excited to live in a country where A. Most of your groceries are trusted and organic by design, or B. You depend on big supermarkets sorting out food labels for you? Planning a trip to Denmark? Or maybe you're moving there soon? Don't just Google your way through it. Let DenmarkExplained.com be your shortcut to a smoother, smarter, and way more fun experience. At DenmarkExplained.com/products, you'll find itineraries, ready-made plans that turn confusion into unforgettable days. eBooks, packed with local insights, cultural tips, and everyday know-how. No boring history lessons, just stuff that actually helps. Expat guides, moving to Denmark? Get the info you wish someone told you before you landed. Everything's digital, everything's simple, and everything's designed to make Denmark feel less confusing, and way more cozy. So skip the stress, and get the guides that explain Denmark, clearly, cleverly, and in plain English. Check it out now at DenmarkExplained.com/products. Your trip, our tips, let's make it amazing. If you're finding this eye-opening, hit like if you're planning to visit or move to Denmark, subscribe for more insights, and drop a comment. Are you more of an A or B? Ready to connect the dots between tradition and today's food network? Let's explore the co-op roots of Denmark's food system. When we talk about food in Denmark, there's a hidden force that quietly shaped the way people shop, eat, and even think about fairness: the cooperative movement. Long before organic and sustainable became buzzwords, farmers and ordinary people here were already working together, building a food system based on trust, equality, and shared benefit. Imagine this. In the late 1800s, small farmers struggled to compete on their own. Milk production was scattered, prices were low, and export markets felt impossible to reach. Then something revolutionary happened. Farmers decided to pool their resources. They built collective dairies, where milk from many farms was processed together, raising quality and cutting costs. By the year 1900, more than 1,000 of these dairies were operating, and suddenly Denmark had become an international powerhouse for butter and cheese exports. And it wasn't just dairy. Soon, farmers organized slaughterhouses, grain mills, and egg export groups. It's almost hard to believe today, but over 80% of milk, bacon, and eggs were handled through cooperatives by the early 20th century. This gave small communities a sense of control, and it gave consumers a guarantee of quality. Doesn't that sound a lot like what many of us are searching for again today? At the same time, something was happening in the cities. Workers and families were tired of paying unfair prices for basic food. They began creating their own cooperative shops. The idea was simple. If we buy together, we pay less and we get better products. From these humble beginnings grew one of the largest membership organizations in the country, with nearly 2 million people involved today. Think about that for a second. Almost 1 in every 3 citizens belongs to a consumer co-op. This is where the story comes full circle. The co-op model didn't just help farmers survive, It built modern retail as we know it. Instead of profits going to distant shareholders, they were reinvested into local shops or returned as member benefits. That principle, community over profit, still drives how many people shop in Denmark today. And if you've ever wondered why organic products are easy to find here, well, part of the answer lies in this tradition of cooperation. Later in this video, we'll talk about how these old cooperative roots paved the way for today's thriving organic markets. But before we go there, think about this. Would you prefer a food system run for profit by a few, or one built on shared ownership by many? We've seen culture, trust, policy, and tradition, but how do modern retailers nurture organics every day? When you walk into a supermarket in Denmark, something immediately stands out. The shelves are full of organic options. Not tucked away in a small corner, but right there alongside everything else. In fact, Denmark has the highest share of organic food sales in the world, with more than 13% of all groceries sold being organic. That's not a niche trend, that's everyday life. So, why is this so common here, when in many other countries organic food is still considered a luxury? Part of the answer lies in trust. Over 80% of consumers say they rely on the national organic label, and when people have that level of confidence in what they're buying, they don't hesitate to choose it. Imagine standing in front of 2 cartons of milk, one conventional and one organic. If the price difference isn't too big, and you trust that the organic one truly delivers on animal welfare and environmental care, the choice becomes simple. Another reason is how widely available organic food is. More than 90% of organic sales happen through ordinary supermarkets and discount chains. This makes organic food accessible to everyone, not just people shopping in small health stores. It's no accident. The largest consumer cooperative in the country has almost 2 million members, nearly a third of the entire population, and with that buying power, they can decide what ends up on the shelves. What's also interesting is which products people buy. Staples like milk, eggs, carrots, oatmeal, and even bananas dominate the organic shopping list. For some of these, the organic share of sales is more than 30%. Think about that for a moment. 1 out of every 3 cartons of oatmeal bought is organic. That's not a passing fad, that's a shift in food culture. Exports are another piece of the story. Each year, more than €500 million worth of organic goods leave Denmark, making it one of the largest exporters per capita. This creates a feedback loop. As demand grows abroad, farmers back home convert more land. Today, over 12% of farmland is organic, well above the EU average. And the momentum isn't slowing down. Forecasts suggest that by 2030, up to 17% of the entire market could be organic. It's not only consumers driving this. Public institutions like schools and hospitals serve more than 60% organic food. So from childhood, people grow up with organic meals as the norm, not the exception. And when you start young, those habits stay with you. The bigger picture? Denmark shows that with trust, accessibility, and strong community structures, organic food can move from being a niche lifestyle choice to something that shapes the entire food system. Thanks for watching. I hope this insight into Denmark's food culture inspired you. See you in the next video, and don't forget to click the playlist on your right to discover more about life, food, and sustainability in Denmark.